10. I'm a little late to recording this, so it's not technically in the evening right now when I am recording this because I kind of got distracted and I was doing a couple of other things. Because essentially, status update, haven't made any money, haven't sold any of my services to anybody quite yet because I'm still taking some courses, which maybe that's an excuse as to not actually doing something. I'm still trying to figure that out. I did take a course from Alex Hormozy on just creating a Grand Slam offer, which he talks about sales and fulfillment, the how, cheat codes, trim and stacks, and how it's better to have something that's super easy to sell to begin with, and then it's a little bit hard to fulfill. So like that could be one-on-one coaching, it could be some other form of like personal reviews, something that costs me and is more effort for me to fulfill myself compared to say something that is harder to sell but easier to fill. Think like courses, podcasts, any sort of like digital recordings, PDFs, things that is like it's a one and done solution. That was his way of saying that that's where you want to move over to first. So I'm trying to, I guess, brainstorm, and what I need to do is I need to just block out some time in one of my days where I can just sit there and, I guess, create some content or just brainstorm some ideas that I have around, I guess, creating some sort of, sorry, I'm moving the camera a lot. I want to actually be able to look here instead of at the lens itself. It's just, it's more comfortable me talking to myself compared to me talking to a camera. That's why I typically wear the sunglasses. I just don't want to put them on today. But yeah, I just need to sit down and create a list of just problems, like a problem that I'm solving, and then all the potential solutions that can come along with that problem. And then where I come in as a service provider, or I come in as somebody that's going to be solving their problem, and how I'm going to be solving the problem and helping them overcome their issues. So I'm going to be working on that over the next coming days. I would say I just need to set up some time and just block some time out for me to do that. I just had to remind myself constantly that it's just one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. It's not, I don't have to overcome or conquer the whole mountain in one single step. I have to remember it's just like with biking or with lifting, with hiking, with walking, with selling, with making calls, with anything that I do, it's quite literally just one phone call at a time. It's not this big glamorous thing of, I have to conquer every single thing in this given day. And that's why right now, after I finish recording this, I'm going to watch a movie and then watch another episode of Captain Fall. It's a cartoon on Netflix right now. Adult cartoon, I guess I should say. So I'm going to do that after I finish recording this, because I'm starting to realize that I think, and this is the thing that I wanted to test tonight, was last night after the video that you just watched on day 9, if you did end up watching that, essentially I talked about how like I watched YouTube and I was wasting a lot of my time and I just felt very unproductive, and I was saying how it was okay to do something like that. And I did that for a couple of hours, and then after I did that, I ended up actually working for the rest of the night. Like I ended up going to another course called the 2-Hour Writer, started brainstorming some ideas there, and then I believe I also started to, I guess I also did end up listening to a course on Ayurveda this morning. So like I did have those different ideas. I did start to brainstorm like some different type of, I guess, ads that I could do. And I was looking at different funnels that other people are using as well too, and reading over their copy. So I was doing more of that last night and just trying to get some ideas on how I can structure my funnels, because my original idea was to like pursue YouTube, do YouTube, do YouTube. And I think that was because that's where my original course, and that was the original course that I bought, was how to make money on YouTube. It's just that course introduced me to a whole new world of marketing and sales that I didn't even know existed. So I'm, I guess, shifting my attention over to, I guess, paid advertising and getting people to want to use my service that way compared to building an organic audience, which I am still going to be doing that with my writing, because I'm going to be writing more. And I did lots of journaling in the past, which I really did enjoy. I just don't think there's any structure to that journaling, even though if I do look at like my Medium account, I did have a couple of readers that were reading my stuff. I never really created a newsletter or created any sort of monetization from it. So I think I'm going to do that, along with possibly doing like a podcast or an interview once a week just on like the Caleb Quimby show or something like that. We'll figure out the naming and other processes a little bit later. I do have some ideas with that because I was looking at one of the accounts and I made like $2.50 off of that, which was kind of cool for accounts that I haven't even monetized or touched in quite some time. So we'll see how that goes. Sorry about the hair. I just got out of the shower. But yeah, I guess we'll figure those things out. But what I was saying was I did end up working more last night after I did take that little break after watching those couple of YouTube videos. And then today, like I went to the gym after I ended up, like I went to the gym and I ended up coming home. And I didn't really do much when I got home. Like I thought a little bit. I watched some YouTube videos. I was trying to look at hooks, I guess, on YouTube videos. And that's where I kind of came to the realization, like, there's all these different niches. There's all these different stories that I could be telling through YouTube content. It's just personally, I'd rather just sell something and provide a service and get paid like a lot quicker and then build that on the back end, because I'd rather get out of my 9-to-5 job as quickly as I possibly can. And I think the best way to do that is through paid advertisement and me providing a service to yoga studios, as I was talking about, to help them increase their clientele, because apparently they did have a hit after COVID happened and not as many people seem to show up to classes, which can obviously decrease the revenue, because I'm believing that teachers are just getting paid on like an hourly basis most likely. So if the owner wants to make more money, the more people they have in the class, the more money they will make on the back end, instead of like the teacher that is teaching that day doesn't get paid out on the amount of students that show up. So like the owner has to pay the yoga instructor regardless of how many people show up. If 2 people show up, they have to pay them the full amount of the hour that they were there for, or 90 minutes, or however long the course their class was, compared to, say, if there's a class of 40 people that showed up, that yoga teacher, that studio owner, is going to have to pay that same yoga instructor the same amount as they would be paying somebody that only taught 2 yogis or something like that. So I'm going to be messing around with that idea, and that's where I was saying I just need to sit down and I need to write out the problem, like write out the problem that I'm solving and all the solutions to that problem to alleviate as much time, effort, timing, to make it as quickly as possible, help them have as little effort and sacrifice as possible to be able to accomplish this goal. So I want to decrease that. I want to basically do it for done for you, so it's going to have a lot of value and have a low cost to that. So it's a one-on-one, like the effort is going to be very minimal, and that's something that I was saying I'm going to need to write out. The dream outcome, like I can focus on that a little bit. It's just like helping them have more yogis come to the studio on a daily basis was something that I had an idea for. And then creating the perceived likelihood of achievement. It's obviously I'm going to have to do it for a very minimal cost, if not free to begin with, just to get the testimonial and show that I actually do have some value and some services to provide. And one, that'll help me solidify the idea within myself that I am capable of doing something such as providing a service. And 2, it'll provide proven track history and or success, ways for me to pivot, learn, grow, develop, and shift the service business to make sure that when I do start charging, I have more yogis and more experience and testimonials and proof of concept, which will increase my authority within that given niche. So that's going to be my direction. I'm going to start time blocking out time. Like that's what I ended up doing last night as well, was I ended up creating a schedule for myself, because I think I need to have a schedule. So like I have it set up to where like I wake up 6:37ish or so, meditate for about half an hour to an hour or so, and then I read first thing in the morning, have my breakfast, my coffee. And I did set it up, I may change this, but I did set it up to where I was supposed to do like the 2-hour writing course first thing in the morning. I'm thinking that I'm going to change it to where I'm just going to make my calls for my 9-to-5 job for the first 2.5 hours of that day. And then after I finish that, have lunch, do the 2-hour writing course and the obviously Alex Hormozi's offers and leads course as well. And then there's also a Facebook ad training course, which I think I'm going to start messing around with that as well a little bit, because for right now, I think it'd be easier if I learn Facebook ads myself, and then I can start to outsource them to other freelancers on Upwork, like I have been doing for some other videos in the past, which I'm going to have to fire, or I guess not fire, but just tell a lot of my freelance workers that are doing the video editing for me that there's going to have to be a brief period of break for them currently, which is going to be tough because I've never really done something like that before. I was doing that with one of them today where I was like, hey, I'm going with this different editor. But I do want to see if I can do like 4 videos on an AI channel like I was telling you about. But I think that's just me hoping on an idea that I just don't have the time for right now. So I think I'm going to have to cut ties with that. And I'm just going to primarily focus on figuring out how to provide this service so that I can get those clients. Because all I really need is just 4 clients to start out that are going to pay me $2,500 a month for me to generate the results that I'm saying with the service that I'm going to be providing. And my service that I'm going to be providing, I believe, is going to be a coaching consulting. It may also be some sort of like Facebook advertisement as well. Have to see. I'm going to read over a couple of other PDFs that I got from the courses that I downloaded the other day, or at least like the landing pages that I ended up submitting. And that's why I like having outreach right now as well too, is because I can create rules within outreach, which allow for the emails that are getting sent from those specific creators to go into those folders. Then I can go back and like look through and see like, this is what we got on day 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 15, and whatever it may be, just to find where the value lies. So that's going to be exciting to see. I got a couple of things, but main priorities that I have for tomorrow is essentially just going to be creating a list, and I'm starting to use Notion. I've found out that Notion is actually incredibly valuable and helpful when it comes down to those types of things, because I can create lists and pages and then like just subsections, where before I was using like Word, and it works. Don't get me wrong. It's very like, I lose track. I wouldn't say lose track, but like it's a lot of scrolling and I have to find out, and it's like multiple pages, where with a Notion I can just have like subsections and then have different pages within those pages. So I think it's going to be a lot more like mentally clear for me, because that's kind of how my mind works, is like I have this top level thing, and then I have this other thing that like goes into this top level thing, and then I have this thing that also connects to this thing, which then connects to this thing down here, which then this thing can also connect to this thing over here, and then that thing can connect to this thing over here. So it's like, I think that's just how my mind works. And I think Notion is going to be a lot more helpful for it. I just have to sit down and do the work and just block out that time to create the value in the service that I'm going to be providing. And that's something that I just have to do. I want to do it. I guess I should say I get to do it. It's just, I'm going to do it. Just set up some time. Either remove some sort of meaningless activity that I'm not doing right now, to be able to incorporate that in, so that then I can get this up and running, because I would like to be able to have my first client by the end of September. Setting that goal right now, like that is the goal that I want to have in place, is I would like to have at least 1 client by the end of September, if not 5.